Soundtrap. How to get into Soundtrap. You are going to go to your browser, probably Google Chrome. Safari should work as well. And you go to this website, eden-hs1.musicfirstclassroom.com. And you will log in using the login that you received to go into Flat. This time, instead of going to Flat, you're going to go to something called Soundtrap. Go on the top left to Software, then click on Soundtrap. Once you are at this page, you need to tell Soundtrap what you'd like to do, which is to enter the studio. So I'm going to click there. That leads us to this page. We can choose whether we're going to record a music or a podcast. Of course, this is a music class. We are not doing a podcast right now. We're going to do music. Now, you can add tracks and you can record tracks and loops, mix them all together to create your wonderful masterpiece. In order to add a track, in the top left there, you're going to click on Add New Track. This gives you different choices. Now, if you were to record your voice and a microphone, you're going to use that. And likely that's what you're going to use, because maybe you're just going to use the microphone that's in your computer and place it beside an instrument so that you can record that instrument. Okay, so we're going to click on that. And that brings us to this track here that's already given to us, and we can do a few different things before we start recording. But basically, you're going to choose an effect here, whether it's maybe you're doing a rap or you want to detune your voice or the microphone. I'm just going to leave that effect like it is. You're going to make sure that the input is set to what you want. I could either use my blue snowball mic, which is attached to my computer, or the external microphone that's just part of a regular computer. So we're going to keep it at the external microphone, but if you want and you have access to a USB microphone, go ahead and choose that. Now, to hit record, I have to enable this track, meaning I want to show Soundtrack that this is the track I want to record on. So when I click there, I'm asked, am I using headphones or not? So this is important. If you have headphones, it's best to put them in, because you don't want to have the speaker play the music while your microphone is picking up sound. That'll create this echo, feedback, and everything, and we don't want that. So if you connect headphones, I'm going to say I'm using headphones. Now you'll notice that this track is highlighted here in red on the R button, and that it's ready to record. That means right now when you hit record, this track will be the one that you record into. So if I start recording, after the get ready, now I'm recording, and it is moving on and on and on there until you press stop. So we're going to hit stop. It's processing, and you can see that the waveform there is just a little bit, because the external microphone that I have is actually the microphone that's on the lanyard of my earbuds. So that didn't maybe pick up my voice very well. So let's zoom back out here. I'm going to click and delete. Now I can either unplug those headphones, or let's use the blue snowball mic that I'm connected to. I'm not too sure if this will work, because I'm actually using that blue snowball for another reason, but let's try it. We are recording. I am talking into the microphone. I'm going to hit stop. No, that did not quite work. After some clicking around and hitting recording and pushing stop and pressing play, I noticed that this track was not quite working for me, and I'm not too sure why. So I'm going to click on the little three dots and say delete it. I'm going to go back, hit add voice and microphone. I'm going to pick up the external microphone that's on my lanyard of my earbuds, hit record there so it's ready, and in fact, I can actually hear the microphone in my ears as I'm talking. If if I didn't want to hear myself talking while I'm, recording, because that could be distracting, I can just click on this, mute button here so that I don't hear it. That's going to be up to you. So I'm going to hit record, and I'm talking about whatever I need to be recording. I'm going to hit stop. Great. So you can see that the waveform here has worked. And if I press play at the bottom, I can't hear it. Why not? Because I actually muted the track. So I'm going to go back and turn it back on. And I'm talking about whatever I need to be recording. Great. So it picked up my voice and it's working. Let's mute this. Okay, so I can bring the volume up and down by sliding this, clicking and dragging up or down and bringing the volume up on that track. Now, of course, I wouldn't record my voice first. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back, delete this by clicking and hitting delete. And now I can go back and play my guitar track or whatever it is. Then I will add a new track. Now I'm using the microphone still, but this time I'm going to activate this track by clicking on the R. I'm just going to mute that so I don't hear myself talking. And after I've recorded a guitar, a ukulele, a piano, some sort of background track, now I'm going to add something else. Maybe I have access to another instrument. So if I recorded guitar up here, I could actually click here and say rename and type in guitar. And here I'm intending on recording a piano. So I'm going to, just so I can keep it all nice and compact and organized. Now here I've activated the track with the R. I'm going to hit start recording. And this time I'm going to record my piano. So now I have guitar, piano. Lastly, I want to add my voice, a third track. So add a new track, hit voice and microphones, make sure that I have my setting proper here, and once I do, I'm going to mute that so I don't hear myself. I'm going to hit record and record my voice. The final kind of step here would be to just go back and I'm going to mix these tracks and mute that again. So I can say, oh, my guitar was too loud, my piano needs to be a little louder, and my voice needs to be the most clear. So I'm going to make sure that it's sitting above all of those. Now you can play with the effects and so on. You'll notice here when you select a track, down here on reverb, pan, and volume, the quick explanation of this, reverb is that echoey kind of sound that you have when you're recording or talking into a microphone, and maybe you don't like that, so you can bring that all the way down or even add more. But you want to have the right kind of balance in that. Pan just means you want it to come out of the left speaker, the right speaker, or somewhere in the middle. I would say let's not play with pan so much. And volume, that again is another way to play with the volume of the track. There's other effects you can play around with as well. But once you've recorded your tracks, now you have a finished song, you've mixed it all together, you need to get it out there. Of course, you can come back and forth between this, hit save, and you'd re-log in at some point and come back and work on it. Because it can be a little frustrating. It can be a little frustrating to record because you make a mistake and you're like, oh, I can get that better. So you hit stop, you delete it, and you start again, and so on. You are done, you are ready to export and hand it in. So you go to the file menu, you say export, and you're going to choose MP3 file, which is the common type of file for listening to music. When you click on that, it might come up and say you have to hit save and so on. Unfortunately, at the time we're recording this tutorial, it's not quite working, and it's saying that it needs a little bit of time to mix your song. It probably won't happen to you, but don't worry, your song, as long as you hit save, your song is not lost and you can return to it. Once it's working, you would have a downloaded MP3 file on your computer that you can then upload to Google Classroom and hand in. I'm looking forward to hearing them. Thanks.